As Jesus was walking along, he saw a man blind from birth. His disciples said to him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus said, "Neither this man nor his parents sinned. He was born blind so that God's works might be revealed in him. We must work the works of the one who sent me while it is still day. Night is coming when no work can be done. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world." And after he'd said this, he spat on the ground and he made mud from the saliva and he spread it on the man's eyes. He said to him, "Go and wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So the man went and he washed and he came back able to see. But the neighbors and those who had known him as a beggar, they began to ask, "Isn't that the man who used to sit and beg? How is it that he now sees?" Some of them were saying, "Yes, it is." Others were saying, No, it's somebody who looks like him." He kept saying, I'm the one. But they kept asking him, "How is it that you now see? How were your eyes opened?" He said, "The man named Jesus put mud on my eyes and told me to wash in Siloam. I went and washed and I received my sight." Well, they took to the Pharisees the man who had formerly been blind. Now it was a Sabbath day when Jesus made the mud and opened his eyes. So they began to ask how he had received his sight. He said, "He put mud on my eyes, then I washed, and now I see." The Pharisees, some of them began to say, "The man cannot be from God because he doesn't observe the Sabbath." But some others said, "Yeah, but how can a sinner perform such signs?" And they were divided. And so they asked the man again, "What do you say about him? It was your eyes that he opened." The man said, "He is a prophet." But the Pharisees wouldn't believe that the man had been born blind and then received his sight until they called the parents of the man who received his sight. And they said to them, "Is this your son who you say was born blind? And how is it that he now sees?" Well, the parents answered, "Well, we know this is our son, and we know that he was born blind, but we don't know how it is that his eyes were opened, nor do we know who opened his eyes. He is of age. He can answer for himself. Ask him." Now, the parents answered like this because they were afraid of the Jewish authorities. The authorities had already decided that anyone who confessed that Jesus was the Messiah would be put out of the synagogue. And for this reason, they said, "He is of age, ask him." So for a second time, they spoke with the man who had been blind. They said, "Give glory to God. We know this man is a sinner." He said, "I don't know if he's a sinner, but one thing I do know is that though I was blind, now I see." But they kept asking him, "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes? What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" He said, "I've already told you, and you would not listen. Why do you want to hear it again? Do you also want to be his disciples?" Then they reviled him. They said, "You are his disciple. We are disciples of Moses. We know God has spoken through Moses, but as for this man, we don't know where he comes from." The man said, "Here is an astonishing thing. You don't know where he came from, and yet he opened my eyes. We know God does not listen to sinners, but listens to those who worship him and obey him. Never since the world began has it ever been heard that anyone opened the eyes of a person who had been born blind. If this man were not from God, he could not do anything. He said to him, "You were born entirely in sin, and yet you presume to teach us?" And they drove him out of the church. Jesus heard that they had driven him out. And so after he found him, he asked him, "Do you believe in the human one?" The man said, "Who is he, sir? Tell me so that I may believe in him." Jesus said, "You've seen him. He's the one speaking with you." The man said, "Lord, I believe." Then Jesus said, "I came to the world for judgment, so that those who could not see would see, and those who could see would be made blind." Some of the Pharisees who were there with him, they heard this, and they said, "Surely we are not blind, are we?" Jesus said, "If you were blind, you would not have sin. But now that you've said, 'We see,' your sin remains."